Hello, welcome. So today we're going to be looking at r/confessions again, and I saved these a little while back, so I can't even remember what's in here, but I'm sure it's going to be a hell of a good time as always. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, then please do stick around and enjoy. And don't forget to like and subscribe, please. Thank you. First up, a nice tame one. Ooh, I ignore calls, then text back saying, I just saw this. If my phone rings and I don't feel like talking, most of the time, samesies, I just let it go to voicemail. Then instead of admitting I ignored it, I wait a while and text back, hey, just saw this, what's up? I'm laughing because I do this exact thing. I have no excuse. I saw it ring. I actively chose not to answer. But for some reason, I didn't feel like talking feels worse than pretending I missed it. Do I need to see a therapist? I mean, if you need to see a therapist, then so do I, because I do this exact same thing. I will sit there and I will watch my phone ring, and it genuinely gives me anxiety that it's ringing, and then I'll wait for it to stop making the noise. Like, I hate people ringing me. Just text me, and then I can decide if I actually want to talk to you or not. Like, I think if I had to theorize why I hate phone calls so much, is I find them very a struggle. I find them very disjointed, and it sort of, I don't know, it sets me off balance. I need to be able to look at someone's face to try and read the social cues. Like voice tone isn't enough for me. I need to put the two together to figure out what they're really saying, and figure out if what I'm saying is getting their back up or not. Like, I really struggle with conversations with a lot of people, unless it's someone I know really well and I know what they are like socially and what they expect from me socially. I don't like it. I'm not answering it, to be honest. Even people that I know really well, I tend to ignore phone calls with as well. I just can't with phone calls. I need to have all the social cues I can to understand where this conversation's going. And then down in the comments, Reflection of Space says, I just figured we all do this. It seems pretty normal to me, honestly. Oh, thank goodness, because I thought that I was just a bit of a cow. Above Ground Pool Queen says, I did this twice yesterday. Yeah, I think this is pretty normal in 2025. We don't take phone calls unless we want to. Back in 1985, we ran to the phone when it rang. I mean, not me. Even as a kid, I was just like, nope, no, thank you. And then Magna Super 1193 says, phone calls now just seem like a huge interruption to my flow. The only calls I get from people now are folks over 50, and I'm 59 myself. Next post, I know my parents are planning on kicking me out when I turn 18. I am going to turn 18 in a couple of weeks. I know they're planning on kicking me out. They have not told me specifically, but I heard them talking about it. I never asked them about it either. I know they hate me. They have always hated me. I don't like them either. They want me to be religious, and I really could not go for sake. And I really could not care less about any of that stuff. When a parent's going to learn to stop pushing their beliefs on their children like this? Like, all you're going to do is push them away, and then those are going to be the same parents going to all their little church buddies. She's awful. She's ditched us. And they're all going to be like, oh, poor you. And really, the reason is because you were bellends to your kid, and now you're wondering why they have disappeared. When I wear makeup, they tell me to take it off. And when I don't, they tell me I need to try and look better. What? I just don't care anymore. I haven't talked to them in weeks, or my siblings. I refuse to respond to them. I don't know what I will do when my birthday comes, and right now, I don't really care. Like, yeah, your parents sound god-awful. Haha, no pun intended. They sound terrible people. Then down in the comments, Biggie, I think, 4411 says, try and round up your social security card, birth certificate, passport, and any other type of things like this. Yeah, because they're probably going to try and take them away and make sure you don't have them. You got some time to plan, not much, but some. Talk to the social worker at your school about any type of help they can get you. At least they would be able to guide you to where you need to go. I'd start to hide stuff at a friend's house if I could. Clothes, documents, and anything else that is important to you. I wouldn't put it past a parent who kicks their kid out at 18 to do the old, that's mine, not yours BS. I know if one of my children's good friends came to us in this scenario, they are crashing with us until they get things in order, especially when it's over something like this. You could also contact family if you feel that they will be supportive. Remember, it never hurts to ask for help. Worst thing they can do is say no. Yeah, I mean, I've seen a few posts on Reddit when scouring, especially on the bloody entitled parents, where the kid says that they're gay, or the kid will say they're not religious, or insert a thing that these religious or over-controlling parents disagree with, and they'll kick them out and refuse to let them have their IDs, refuse to let them have their banking information, things like that. And it gets messy real quick, because obviously without those things, it's very hard to find somewhere to live. And then Quicksilver Foxheart says, just be careful. Some family members or even friends' parents may inform your parents of your plans, which could cause more harm. OP, I was in a similar situation-ish. You'll be okay. You're tougher than them. Yeah, exactly. Just play your cards very close to your chest, because some people are not on your side and you think they would be, but they're not. So play your cards extra close to your chest. Be very careful who you confide in. And I hope the best for the OP. Like, why do people do this? Why do parents do this? I can't imagine kicking my kids out when they turn 18. Like, they can live here for as long as they want. I don't care. There's like 3 bedrooms in this house. Why would I boot them out? What's the point? Like, I don't get it. Next post, I paid a couple of girls to feign interest in my mate. I've got a mate who's nearly 30. To be honest, he's not a great looking bloke, but more importantly, he's had no experience with girls ever. Which sucks, because he's genuinely a great dude and maintains friendships with girls. But he tends to friend zone himself before asking one out. He's suffered pretty hardcore anxiety and depression and hates going out. So this year, at my birthday, one of the only events he'll come out for, because he's a great bloke and knows it means a lot to me, I asked a couple of random girls if I could shout them a drink and they could just compliment my mate on something and have a small chat. No obligation to be anything, but just polite and nice. And my lord, he's been a different dude ever since. His confidence has skyrocketed. He's even asking when we're going out next. Aww. If he ever found out what I did, I genuinely think he would never leave the house again. You cannot ever say anything. Do not breathe a word about that. Like, don't let him find out, because do you know what? If it gives him a confidence boost, it helps him get himself out there and, you know, amongst the wider world, why not? Why not? I think, obviously, don't ever let him find out you did that, but I'm glad he's found some confidence. And then Sergeant Gaspacho, my goodness. These usernames are getting more out of pocket and harder to read. I would delete the post before it can ever get found. BCFC says seconded or add fake details. Then Haha Jadet says don't worry, it's already a fake story. I don't think it's a fake story. I genuinely believe that this could be very true. Like, some people just really struggle with confidence. All they need is that little push to find themselves. Sparefinger 32. Where did you get a spare finger from? 3244 says, what part of this very mild story sounds in any way unreasonable? And then our Wrangler 7468 says, I was depressed and got made fun of for my looks my whole life. And I can genuinely say that the first time a girl showed interest in me has been a life-changing experience. It didn't cure anything, but it gave me hope, confidence, and a newfound sense of self-worth. It also put a full stop to my self-harm ideations. I am so glad that you are not having those anymore. Goodness me. Not saying this isn't fake, since this is Reddit, but when you've been the subject of rejection and mockery for so long, a few compliments can go a really long way. I'm so glad that you are feeling a lot better, commenter, and I'm so glad OP's mate is feeling a lot better as well. Okay, I think this may be one of the first posts I've ever read where the OP is absolutely unhinged just as much as the person they're talking about. So, the title of this one says, he is having fun avoiding parental responsibilities, but there is no child. Excuse me, what? A guy I was dating intentionally tried to get me pregnant when we were together. After finishing into me, when I asked him not to, and he knew I was ovulating. How the hell did he know that? He ghosted, and I never heard from him again. I lied and told him he got me pregnant, and he blocked me. Sounds like he planned to do that. Is that a weird, like, Fetish? Did I spell that right? It's a Monday morning. Leave me alone. I managed to reach out to him and told him I gave birth, and he hung up on me. There is no child. What the hell? He unblocks me every couple of months to taunt me about being left with his child. But there is no child. It's just funny to watch how much joy he gets out of thinking he created a child and disappeared. Almost like it's a kink for him. Yeah, exactly. I genuinely think it might be. I don't ever plan to tell him that there's no child. LOL. No, you've got to tell him because you're feeding into his weird, like, pleasurable thing otherwise. Tell him and ruin it for him. I'm just going to let him enjoy feeling like he did something. For those calling me crazy, I do have borderline personality disorder, so it's playtime with a devil face. Also, we weren't using the pull-out method. He was using a condom and decided to take it off quickly before he finished and shove himself back in there to finish, while I pushed on his chest, cried, and said no repeatedly. That is awful. I didn't deserve that, but he deserved this. And the fact that so many of you think that lying is worse than or equal to forced sexual times is effing terrifying. Yeah, I mean, doing that classes as forcing yourself on someone. Like, when they say no, no means no, you stop immediately. What are you doing, you absolute shite bag? And then down in the comments, this comment did tickle me a little bit, to be fair. Jello22 says, I feel so sad for your non-baby and its extra crazy non-parents. How will this affect its non-life? It probably won't even go to a non-college, be a non-drug user and end up on a non-homed. We should start a non-GoFundMe. And then OP adds a little bit more to the lore of what she's obviously been telling this guy. The non-baby's name is Aspen. Her non-birthday is coming up and she will be 2. We are homeless and need money. I'm also on crack real bad and can't keep a job. Is this what she's been telling him? Oh my goodness. So sad and desperate. He messed up our lives. Money is needed. Normally I wouldn't condone lying about stuff like that, but I feel like, oh my goodness, this is one of those things that's just a clusterfuck of mess. It's like, whatever. You guys crack on. I'm gonna go over here with my cuppa and sit in the corner. I poured skunk tincture all along my neighbours' windows, so they better be quieter. They were so loud all the time. I tried talking to them, telling them my boyfriend and I work at a coffee shop and bakery, and our hours are very early. I bribed them with treats I made. Yeah, don't people who work as bakers have to, go in at 3 a.m? I know I saw one lady who works at a bakery nearby me had posted something on the socials basically saying, by the way, to the person who was worried that we were being broken into the other day, it was just me starting my work day at 4 a.m. Which, fair enough. I can understand why, because obviously they need to, make sure that everything is there and ready for in the morning. They were constantly opening their windows and playing their music so loud for hours at all hours. Even their conversations were loud, with their windows open, even with mine closed. I would know when their mum was visiting, when their boyfriends were texting them back, or when they got their nails done. I did everything to cover it up. Music of my own, fans for white noise, TV, etc. It's like they knew when I was actively trying and stepped up their game to be louder. Eventually, we tried talking to landlords and made noise complaints and everything. They just learned how to be sneaky about being loud. Oh yeah, so they're definitely doing it on purpose. They're not just people who have no sort of awareness of their surroundings. They are just being assholes. Eventually, it got spiteful, putting music in the window, screaming and banging on the walls. Our houses weren't connected, so they are not even connected and they're hearing this much noise. So they must have been being extremely loud. but there was maybe a max of 10 foot in between with a sidewalk going through. I was getting really stressed, losing sleep, couldn't relax in my house, was getting sent home from work because I was so tired. It got really bad and I had no idea what to do. Nothing we had done up to this point had worked. I have a sneaky suspicion this is one of those if they go low, we're gonna go lower moments, and I'm here for it so much. When I'd explain my situation, people would come up with funny revenge ideas. None of them stuck like the skunk tincture did to me. I could feel it in my bones that it would work. So I ordered some on Amazon, and one morning as I left for work, I dumped it all along the side of their house that they keep their windows open on. It smelled so bad. I was worried I was going to get some on me and I'd smell bad at work. I didn't. Yeah, you took a risk doing that before work. Fast forward a couple of hours and I get a notification on our camera that there's motion. It faced in between the two houses along the sidewalk, the place I dumped the tincture. One of the girls was walking back and forth up the sidewalk, spraying the rocks under the windows with Lysol. I watched it for a while and more came out. One opened the window and pulled the screen off and wiped it all down. Eventually, a maintenance guy showed up, then the gas company. I kind of started to panic at that point. I felt kind of bad, like maybe I had gone too far. I don't think they ever figured out or suspected me. Oh my god. That must have smelt really bad to get the gas company out. I've never smelt what comes off a skunk, so I wouldn't really be able to know what to compare it to, but yeah. That must smell so bad. If anyone has ever smelt what comes off a skunk, please do let me know. Like, give some comparisons that little old me from the UK, where we don't really have many sort of animals with that kind of defense mechanism, might understand. Compare it to some sort of like rotten food or something. I don't know. I'm really intrigued. I'm not, but I also am. For the next 2 months, those windows stayed shut and I barely heard anything from them. It was so peaceful, I couldn't believe it worked. That is amazing. About a man who was arrested for squirting a generous amount of a product called liquid ass under his neighbour's door. Liquid ass, that's hilarious. I believe it reminds me of that thing it's a meme, isn't it? That woman on the news and she was like, liquid ass. I can't do accents, I don't know if you can tell. I believe this was the culmination of an ongoing noise dispute between across the hall neighbours in a Chicago high-rise. Really taking a risk squirting liquid ass under a door on a high-rise where you live on that floor. And then Baconator Out says, were there also piss discs? Always gotta have piss discs with your liquid ass. Oh my god. I'm starting to feel a tad nauseous. Can't imagine why. And on that note, I think that's all we've got time for today. I hope you enjoyed this one. I had a good laugh along. One of those stories, and I'm sure you can guess which one, was so incredibly out of pocket. Yeah, so if you made it all the way to the end, then I appreciate you very, very much. If you want to come back here and see more, then don't forget to give a like and subscribe. That way I will appear in your algorithms and in your recommended, which is good for you, good for me, you know? Anyway, I hope you have a really good rest of your day, whatever it is you're doing. I am now going to disappear. Goodbye.